Morning, everybody. Thanks for coming. Today I'm going to just take you through our experience that we had when we made our first UEFN game. So I guess a simple way to describe it could be a brief overview of how small teams can achieve great things by working within clear and established constraints. So a little bit about Red Kite Games. Red Kite Games, we have a team size of 80 developers. We're in studio, so we all work together. And we're based in central Leeds in the UK. Technology focused and sort of creatively accomplished. We have 70% engineers, 30% art, design, production, and QA. We provide co-development work for hire, and we also develop our own IP. And we're known for delivering a high-quality service, creating AAA games across varying genres, and we support multiple world-class AAA publishing partners. We're also part of the Sumo Digital family of studios. Our history. So we sort of possess a proven track record for producing critically acclaimed games. And the Red Kite team comprises members who have been instrumental in developing some of the biggest titles the past 2.5 decades for the likes of Rockstar, Activision, and Sony. And our games, we've been developing games for a variety of different platform holders, AAA publishers, AAA studios, including Sony, Microsoft, Activision, 2K, Sega, Warner Brothers, Epic, 505, Rare, Rocksteady, Codemasters, Sharkbob, Mediatonic, and Remedy. Some of you may be here today, so if you are, hello. A little bit about me. I'm old, 1967, that's when I was established, a little bit older than Red Kite. But I've been studio art director at Red Kite Games since July last year. I worked at other Sumo Digital studios for the past 19 years. I started there in 2005. My career sort of in the industry started in 1999, so 25 years ago. And I've worked on many sort of different game types, racing games, fitness titles, platformers, stylized, photorealistic, a few of them there at the bottom of the screen. And worked with IP such as Sonic, Sackboy, Forza, Disney, Hasbro, and quite a few others as well. And I've also been worked in different leadership roles in the art departments, lead artist, art manager, project and studio art directors. So, as I mentioned at the intro, here's a short insight into our experience of learnings when we made our first UEFN game. And I can show you a short video of it in action in a second. Sometimes a little pause here. There we go. There we go. So that actually went live on Monday gone, so on the 17th. So if you've got Fortnite, give it a go. So why did we do it? And we had a few reasons for that, really. We had a small mixed discipline dev team that was available at that point in time. And we had a small window of opportunity between the last project and the next one. And we thought it was a convenient focus for the team before the next project started up. And learning, we thought it'd be great to learn a new development process and gain some experience from that. And we also wanted to share the findings across the studios of Sumo Group. And also, from a morale point of view, it was something that we wanted to have a bit of fun with and give our team that kind of, transition, that gap between one project and the next, which can often be a bit of a difficult period sometimes. And it was like a general investigation to UEFN to identify what it may have to offer to sort of professional developers alike. One underlying theme that I'll refer to a lot today about is the value it can have for a small team. I found the benefits to our team to be substantial and would happily repeat the experience again. Methodology and approach. We wanted to end up with a game and not just an experience. We should choose a game that's realistic within our limited timeline, and we should aim for the highest quality we could achieve to enable the team to have a full input into the creative process. And we want to do fast iteration, so the team mantra being think, share, discuss, decide, and implement quickly. And to give junior members of the team some live development experience and practice, which they otherwise would be waiting for some time. So our team consisted of a few people. We had John, who was the lead designer, very experienced. Maxi, senior level designer, same sort of thing. We had Val, 3D artist. Matt, another 3D artist. And Mel, who was a 3D artist and also did concept work as well. And then there was Dave Roberts, our studio creative director, and myself, studio art director. And all of us had one thing in common, apart from working in game dev, and that was we'd never been Fortnite players, apart from Matt, who'd been a bit of a Fortnite player in the past. But other than that, we were all kind of noobs to it, really. So the thought that I kind of went back and captured as an experiment, really, what the team thought at the beginning. And later on, there's a slide that covers what they thought at the end, just as a sort of interesting contrast. So initially, apprehensive, didn't play Fortnite or see any gameplay levels before using a UEFN, so I wasn't sure how things would go or what players expected. A bit indifferent, never played Fortnite before, and it didn't sound like a thrilling experience. We know it is. But was curious about Verse and what it could do. I played Fortnite quite hardcore, this is Matt, obviously, for its first few seasons, and then moved on. The gamer side of me was uninspired jumping back into it at first. This is great, surely we should be able to make anything. It's just Unreal Engine with the added bonus of assets from Fortnite, right? And on the art side, the library's pretty big, but those assets can't be modified, and there's no access to the model or texture files. But you can replace the materials in the scene. We could add new assets in the short timeline, meant that we had to use 80% existing and 20% new items. So from the art perspective, they were sort of a little frustrated. They were like, well, we can't do everything we want to do in normal and real. So we were there to try and prove them wrong. So the early ideas, and what we wanted to do within our time. So we set up a Miro board, and we set up a little template, so the team could sort of brainstorm ideas, and they came up with just, there were no restrictions at all, and so we just said, just go for it. And we set up a little template so they could kind of create like an elevator pitch, like a small summary of what they were thinking, create some images, and put them together, and then we can sort of vote on it as a team. So Miro is really, really useful for us in that respect. We use it a lot. It's a great tool. So yeah, we created these elevator pitches, put them on Miro, and then the team voted with a little icon. And then we kept it quite democratic. The whole thing was really quite good fun. Yeah, it felt like a big game jam, in fact, which is always good. So then we sort of realized that we couldn't quite do the things that we kind of wanted to do. So we thought, well, reality needs to kick in a little bit now. So the early ideas were cool and they had great potential. And we were learning more about how a UEFN game should actually be. One issue was that we were not able to make our ideas in UEFN at that time. We know new things have been added to it all the time. But with the limited staff and time resources we had, so we had to get real, really. And in retrospect, the ideas were not the best fit for UEFN games at that time. So the new direction, we decided to take a more realistic and pragmatic approach to it. And we found the template of sort of suggested UEFN game types provided by Epic. And we thought we'll pick one of those and we'll work within those set constraints, and we won't see it as a negative, and we'll focus on finding the fun fast, which is always important. And the effect on the team, having come up with all those cool ideas at the start, we thought maybe they'll be not happy about that, but they were fine. They were realistic, and we were happy to rapidly move on. Lots of fun had been had when we were generating those ideas. The process had created a great team spirit. Everyone had been able to contribute creatively. And the nice thing was that out of all those ideas that we had on our Miro board, some of them are things we might take forward in other games in the future. Who knows? Maybe even outside of UEFN. So it was a totally worthwhile exercise. Level design and gameplay. So our designer Maxi, his sort of favorite game level from the past had been the Facing Worlds map from Unreal Tournament. That was his favorite map ever. He played it to death back in the day. And it was back to basics, classic team deathmatch, which is kind of what we focused on. 2 towers and 1 central capture point. That was our early level blockout that you can see there. Before it had any kind of art applied to it. We added like a pink cloud layer so that when you fell off the platforms, that was the kill plane. So it kind of masked any sort of nasty camera issues you might see as you fell to your death. And it complained, one of the main features of the game was these kind of mashups of existing weapons, but we added these mutated gameplay effects. So you had these combos that just completely sort of transformed the feeling of using those weapons, which made it very unique and kind of really good fun. And these weapon mutator combos, they change every 30 to 60 seconds, so you never know what's coming next. So you get this kind of really cool, rapid, modified gameplay that you just don't know what to expect, which is really quite exciting. Fast respawns with jump pads, so that when you do get spawned back to your base, you're back in the action really quick. Instantly accessible gameplay, straight to the point. And we also decided to use Fortnite's building mechanic as a sort of a tactical feature. So you can kind of build these platforms to get up high, shoot down on the capture platform, or come in low. Just take people by surprise, really. And there's quite a lot of tactical gameplay in that. It's really good fun. Each base has 3 vertical levels to fire from. So you can take the risks of going up high and getting shot by a sniper from the other side, or you can go down low and try and sneak up on the capture platform. There's like lots of ways to play it. And we included sort of line of sight blockages with the way that we constructed the towers in the middle to try and avoid everybody having line of sight straight across, so that there was different ways to play. And then one of the fun parts of it really is the random mosh pit feature, where everybody gets teleported onto the central capture point with swords or hammers, and it's just carnage, and it's just like random, but it brings the entire gameplay play group together for that time, and it's just great fun. And Max's quote at the bottom there was, "All in all, I took this as a bit of an experiment to take a classic and beloved map and give it a few twists to see how it would hold up in a more modern scenario, and with how much fun people were having, I'll take it as a successful one." And I'd agree with him there wholeheartedly, because as a team, we actually really enjoy playing it, which I think is testament to how much fun it really is. So we did a few sort of UI icons as well, just to sort of make the whole thing a little bit more kind of polished for our gameplay mode, which was good fun to do. So this is a little bit of the art side of things right now, and where the actual design came from. So we did a first visual test, because as I mentioned before, we decided that we were going to try, because of the time constraints we had, we were going to use perhaps about 80% library assets and use them in a way that worked for us. And then we would top that up with 20% unique assets to kind of give it our own flavor. So this was just the first layout that we tried. I think this asset set was Mega City, I think it's called. And this worked quite nicely. And this is kind of where this was put together by one of the members of the team. And it's kind of what really, this one image is what drove part of the level design. So the idea of having a pink cloud layer as a death plane, it kind of came from this image. And the whole sort of look and feel of it started here as well, which was really cool. So we decided to give it like a working code name of Future Japan Cloudscape as a theme. That was the initial kind of art intentions. We said it must look stunningly beautiful, part inspired by films like Big Hero 6 and Blade Runner, one of my all-time favorites. 80% megacity assets and 20% new. Multiple different looks just by changing the fog color and the time of day. The neon strips on some of the buildings, we were thinking maybe we could use those to, to sort of suggest different gameplay modes and things like that. And we'll have initially it was going to be a single central hero building. Initially we were thinking that's where the capture point would be. Ultimately we changed that to 2 at the sides. But yeah, we thought maybe a big, like a huge pagoda structure because of the cool silhouettes you get with those kind of architecture buildings. Yeah, and we can use the neon signboards to show scores and gameplay modes in play or what's coming next. Yeah, we were going to try and put on the boards things like which one of the mutators and weapons combos was in action at that time. But in the end, we couldn't actually do that. But it was a good idea. Adding new level layouts for future maps will be easy and rapid doing it this way as well. So the visual inspiration came from images like this, really. So we captured images from obviously the top right there, the sort of Blade Runner classic images. And sort of pagoda images. We even threw in a few AI images as well, just sort of play around with that, which was really quite quick for generating ideas. And then the visual concepts, the very early sketches. We didn't really spend much time doing detailed concepts like we would normally do. We were just doing sketches because we were working so rapidly, making decisions quickly, making choices quickly, and getting onto it. We didn't really feel the need to be doing great detailed sketches. So these were just some of the very early sketches to sort of share within the team, just to sort of suggest how it was going to be. On this particular one, the big image on the left there, that's kind of what we meant by the central pagoda structure that I just mentioned. We eventually sort of swapped it round so that the central platform obviously was smaller and lower, and the 2 big structures were on the left and right-hand sides. So this is kind of how it came out in the end. Very colourful, very bright. And we also started to explore the idea of different sort of colour themes for the different teams, the pinks and the blues, which look great when they're in neon. So the dojos, as we describe them, they're actually the sort of team bases where you actually start from. They're the rooms inside the pagoda structures. And the cool thing about this was that obviously, as you can see here from this visual reference, that most of the sort of classic sort of dojo style images are quite pink, or they have the cherry blossom trees as quite a distinct visual feature, which is quite nice, and it worked for us quite well with the color theming that we wanted to actually apply. So the actual final versions kind of came out like this. So they're very distinctly and very deliberately brightly colored in the blue, so that when you spawn into the base, because you automatically are picked onto a team, you don't choose, you'll know which team you're on. You're on what we described as the Jade Dragons or the Cherry Tigers. That was originally going to be the name of the game mode, but we shortened it down to just Tigers versus Dragons. But this is the reason we have the jade blue colors and the pink cherry colored dojos. So for the narrative, people often asked us about what's the story, what's the backstory, what does it mean, who are the characters, who is a Jade Dragon, why don't they like the Cherry Tigers, what's the conflict? So, when people ask us that questions, because of our rapid development process, the team mantra being think, share, discuss, decide, and implement, our answer when we're asked what's the narrative was basically we didn't have one. We didn't want to lose precious time trying to think one up and delaying things. We knew we had a finite window of time to do this. So we thought, let's just make some choices visually, move on. Players just want to play the game. We didn't think that they'd be too interested in the storyline behind this. So we'll just make some icons for the two different sides, dragons, tigers. And if we did want to put a narrative to it, we'll just come up with a cool visual theme now, make it fun to play, and then we'll hang a narrative from it later on if it needs one. So we just rapidly move through this. So for character designs, for the Jade Dragon, and when I say that these are just the statues that are sitting on top of the actual pagoda buildings. So we wanted to have some iconic sculpture silhouettes on the rooftops of each of the facing pagodas as you're approaching them. So you will see the opposing side. These rooftop characters are designed to be seen from the frontal aspect only. So we wanted good silhouettes there. So the concepts, initial sort of working out the visuals for the Jade Dragon were, as you can see here. So we just have some initial sort of ideas. The concepts were more sketch-like, really. They're just like the very early stage concepts because we were just working within the team. And the concept artist was generally working with the 3D artist to sort of develop this thing really rapidly, back and forth. And we got to this really cool result at the end. We went for a triangle frame around the Jade Dragon, pointy, spiky. And obviously it's a robot, it's metal, it's got claws, glowing eyes. It sits inside this pointy triangle. So, even without a storyline behind it, you can tell it's kind of a nasty chap. It's the bad guy. And for the Cherry Tiger, we kind of wanted a more friendly figure to counter the Jade Dragon. So tiger's a nice, warm pink color, made from a warm, glossy wooden material, and with a friendly wave. It stands inside a circle with no pointy bits, and tiger's clearly your friend. And having said all that, we don't know. There's no storyline that says why the tiger and the dragons are not friends. Maybe in the future we'll get to that. But there was one interesting fact there that's down at the bottom there, where it says that one of the team actually found this. I think actually after we'd chosen tiger and dragons, but there's actually like a historical, sort of mythological kind of connection. The dragon and the tiger are opposing yet complementary forces within Japanese mythology. Together they represent the yin and the yang of the universe, apparently, but we didn't know that originally, so it's quite good. Yeah, and then we also had a third character, which featured quite prominently originally, and that was called the Capture Bunny, which has no narrative sense at all, but as I've said, we didn't really have a narrative. But Capture Bunny was originally going to be sitting over the capture platform in the middle. It was going to be like a holographic projection floating in the air for no reason whatsoever. We just thought it looked cool and it'd be a nice central feature. Bunny eventually kind of became team icons. So instead of the Capture Bunny changing color to suggest the pink team were winning or the blue team were winning, because we couldn't actually do that technically at the time, we just changed it to the actual team icons for whoever was winning. But so I think Bunny still makes it in the game. It's just not in its original intended use. And he doesn't have any mythical background at all, like the dragon and the tiger does. We just thought it looked cute. So this is what I referred to at the beginning. We sort of asked the team at the end what their thoughts were about what they'd created, because they all enjoyed doing it, and I thought it'd be good to capture that. So one quote was, "I was stoked that we managed to get so much of a really simple gameplay concept and how much people enjoyed it. Also, was really happy to be able to pay homage to Facing Worlds, one of my favorite maps of all time." I think that was from Maxi, our level designer. Visually, I really like the result, and thanks to the custom assets and additions, I think we made something unique and not seen anywhere else in UEFN right now. It came out better than I was expecting after all, the back and forth with ideas. I like the chaos. It keeps it interesting when you're constantly switching modes and weapons. Really happy with how it turned out. When a dev team is enjoying playing their own creation, then it shows they're proud of it, and it has potential. Very happy with the visual scape of the level. Sat beautifully in the background of a very fun game mode. With not being a Fortnite player myself, I hope our creation appeals to seasoned Fortnite players and the wider audience. So they were generally quite positive about it, really. So just as a sort of final summary, really, of what we learned, if you've got downtime between projects, consider filling it with the UEFN project. You can do them really quickly, and I think the benefits are quite prominent, really. Morale. A small, short mini project like UEFN could be a great boost to team morale. Experience. Creating a UEFN game is an excellent way to impart real game-making experience to junior members of a team. Technical constraints. Working within a set of intelligent technical constraints is not a bad thing. Get creative and work around them. We did a lot of that, and I don't think it sort of was detrimental at all. And from a business point of view, if you've got people available, give UEFN a try. It may end up being a great business decision. And that's it. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks.